En Shona, Zimbabwe signifie maison de pierre. Fondé au XIe siècle par un peuple d'agriculteurs, le Great Zimbabwe est au centre d'un commerce international d'or, d'ivoire, d'étoffes et de céréales. Durant plusieurs siècles, l'empire du Monomotapa est le grenier agricole de l'Afrique australe. Aujourd'hui, la République du Zimbabwe est considérée comme l'une des plus pauvres au monde, et dans son économie en ruine, le chômage touche près de 90% de la population. Des chutes Victoria au mont Inyangani, en passant par le Mashonaland, cœur historique du peuple Shona, nous avons rencontré des paysans qui pratiquent une agriculture variée, à petite échelle, résistante au manque de matériel et à la corruption politique. Ils sont les gardiens de la maison de pierre, les bâtisseurs du Zimbabwe de demain.
Whether you like it or not, people's freedom is on its way. On its way! Watch out, freedom is coming. With thunders from the weapon.
C'est par les armes que les paysans noirs ont repris le pouvoir à la minorité blanche. En 1980, après une guerre qui engendre plus de 200 000 morts, le guérillero Robert Mugabe est élu à la tête du Zimbabwe. Dernier pays d'Afrique à accéder à son indépendance, Mugabe promet de réformer les structures coloniales héritées de l'apartheid. En 2000, poussé par les anciens combattants, les paysans et les chefs traditionnels, le gouvernement exproprie les 3500 fermiers blancs qui possèdent 40% des terres du pays. Ils ne seront jamais indemnisés au prétexte que le prix de la terre a déjà été payé par le sang de ceux qui sont tombés à la guerre. Si la redistribution foncière permet à 3 millions de paysans noirs d'accéder à un lopin de terre, les grandes exploitations sont réservées aux proches du pouvoir. Premier ministre, puis président, Mugabe occupe le pouvoir sans partage durant 40 ans. En 2017, dans un pays en ruine, la révolte populaire chasse le despote du pouvoir et ouvre la porte aux initiatives agricoles qui ne demandent qu'à fleurir. La vallée de Nyanga, à la frontière du Mozambique, bénéficie d'un climat tempéré. Une apicultrice américaine, venue s'installer dans les années 80, a monté avec son mari zimbabwéen la première ferme éducative de la région du Manicaland.
My husband used to be a member of parliament in Zimbabwe. He's an economist and a statistician. So he wanted this property to show the people of Nyanga district what they can do with a small piece of land. So we tried to make it like a teaching place, so that you come here, you don't need 100 hectares, you don't need 1,000 hectares. You can be extremely productive by having a small piece of land, because you know we're about 85–90% peasants here. In 1980, I have a relative here who was an ex-combatant, and they formed a bee group. I've tried to encourage many people about this beekeeping. And as I say, I'm not a good beekeeper, but the peasants are, but they use the traditional hive. Any tree actually is used by the bees. And here we also have a wattle tree, apple, peaches, plums, nectarines, oranges. All these fruit trees were pollinated by the bees. Most of mine, because I'm buying mainly from the peasants here in Inyanga, it is from the Masasa trees, the Mudondo tree. We have gum trees, because as I said, the eucalyptus is always full of secretions. You see, these are guavas, and they make very nice jam, and they're starting, you see, to get a little bit yellow. But because of the trees, this was a big mistake. I don't know why my husband put so many trees. We planted these trees. Now we are regretting. But we just never believed that they would grow like this. So now all we can do is cut down the small ones, you see. There are very few small ones. We are getting from the river. We pay for this water, but it's quite minimal what we pay. But once it's coming through your property, you must pay something because we are using it. But for agricultural purposes, it's a bit cheaper. But we are not keeping it. We were keeping it in those little ponds for the trout fish. We used to get it in oxygenated tanks. There are no tanks of oxygen. There are no plastic bags to put it in. Mismanagement.
De l'autre côté des 2600 mètres du mont Inyangani, la Hondé Valley est exposée à un climat tropical propice à la culture du thé et de café. Nous avons rencontré une famille qui a récupéré 2 hectares lors de la réforme agraire.
This country is a good place where we can make good farming. This is my homestead. I've got 2 wives and I've got 16 kids. Give him come here. He is very good in farming, this guy.
I like to farm potatoes and bananas.
We can do coffee, we can do bananas, we can do peaches, we can do apples, we can do beans, maize, as you can see. We also do potatoes. We have got what we call yellow maize. We have got orange maize. We have got white maize. So we have got 3 types of maize. Most of our seeds we buy from Pana seeds. We buy from Seedco. This one we don't know really where it is from, but it's a new seed. It came just this year. We started only this year.
The maize comes here, they are not paid for 5 years, and then they come and take the maize, their maize, for the people here who don't have maize now 5 years later, and then they are going to what? They're going to sell it somewhere else. It's not fair. But it's not the NGOs, it's us Zimbabweans with bad management.
The problem is we didn't have enough water. Now, we are looking for as much as what we call pipeline. So we have got 50 meters. We are looking for almost about 3 more kilometers. We get it from up there. Behind that hill, behind there, there's a stream there, which is called Zidu. That's where we will be getting the water. And it comes all the way 4 kilometers to get to the tank. As I said, we are 40 families. We had to think of our school, where our kids goes to. They must also have clean water. When we get too much rain, sometimes we get some problems of insects, diseases in our crops. So when we come to that stage, then we have to make some chemicals.
Now they have contracts with banana companies. I think most of them, they're coming from Malaysia. They've gone big into banana production. But if you can see what I consider to be extremely unfair trading policy is that for every 100 bananas, they are given $1.
Sometimes my family will be gone to school, so it's myself and my wife be doing the whole job. We don't have enough money. That's the problem we are having. If say we could have enough, we can do better than this.
Denga makatendeka shimakatendeka Jesu makatendeka Jesu denga makatendeka shimakatendeka Jesu makatendeka Muno nyaradza Jesu Muno nyaradza Jesu every day every hour you are faithful oh Lord every day every hour you are faithful oh denga muno nyara faithful. Oh Lord, you are faithful. Oh Lord,
every day,
every day, every hour, you are faithful. Oh Lord,
every day,
every day,
every hour.
every hour.
La redistribution foncière s'est concentrée sur les terres agricoles existantes. Les réserves naturelles construites à l'époque coloniale sont encore propriété de l'État. Les anciens camps de chasse réservés aux Blancs sont maintenant à l'abandon. Dans le camp de Katchana, l'artiste sonore Julie Rousse pose un piège à son pour capter la symphonie de la nature, exempte de la présence humaine.
Les enregistrements vont durer assez longtemps.
À cheval sur le Botswana et le Zimbabwe, une mosaïque d'aires protégées permet aux animaux de vivre en liberté dans un territoire de la même superficie que la Belgique. C'est ici que vit l'une des plus importantes populations d'éléphants au monde, avec plus de 40 000 pachydermes recensés en 2018. Principale destination touristique de l'Afrique australe, la ville de Victoria Falls accueille près de 400 000 visiteurs par an. Dans le quartier populaire de Chinotimba, des femmes atteintes du VIH ont créé une parcelle agricole urbaine afin de survivre à la pauvreté et subvenir aux besoins de leur famille. Elles restent dépendantes des dons de matériel et de citernes d'eau.
The council gave us the place. It's not for the clinic. It's from the council. They give us the place to plant the vegetables and whatever want to plant. We plant the lettuce, spinach, shallots, carrots, chomolia, and some herbs. And also beetroot. We don't plant tomato because the baboons and then the elephants. Because if you plant the tomatoes, the time you water the tomatoes, that is smelling at night, it's go far. And then the elephant and then come and eat all. My father was planting the vegetables. The time I come from school, they gave me food. After they gave me food, and then they said, go to the garden. I was watering the garden, and my mom and dad, they were selling for some village vegetables. All we are planting here, they were planting. So it's where I learn. We don't use fertilizer. We will use manure, special chicken poo. It makes our vegetables healthy and big leaf. So sometimes we got the challenges of water. Like if the time is hot, there is no water. But we are starting now to plant, as you see. It gives us a big challenge to pay our children food and then to pay school fees. I have 8 kids, 3 boys and 5 girls. The last one is that one who was here, Precious. They know that we are living with HIV positive. Their mother died and their father died, so we're also looking after them and our children. She dig by himself, he plant, and then he water, and he cultivate by himself. But look how small is she. The time we start our garden, we were so many. Because the time we start our garden, we were about 50 in one bed. So that's why I tell some, I said, no, let's stay. We are going to get, so that small is better than nothing. And then we stay now. It's not hard for us because our garden is ours. So if I'm tired, I can sit. If I'm tired, I can sit. But I must work because I'm looking to get something. The lion counter is the one who buys for us the tank. And then is the one who buys us for the tools. and white rhizome is helping us every year. They buy us even medicine to spray the vegetables.
Malgré la présence du Zambèze, les Zimbabwéens souffrent chroniquement de la sécheresse. En 2016, il a été question de mettre en vente des éléphants afin de financer des importations de blé. Sans terre agricole, les Blancs du Zimbabwe ont investi le secteur des tours opérateurs de safari. De l'autre côté de la ville, un entrepreneur a choisi d'opter pour la culture hors sol. Il veut satisfaire la demande des hôtels en légumes européens tels que les concombres, les tomates et les plantes aromatiques. Ces moyens financiers lui permettent de mettre en œuvre des stations de pompage dans le Zambèze et d'importer les produits chimiques nécessaires au développement de la culture hydroponique.
This cloth is for protection for my mouth, so that I will not going to breathe the chemical. It will going to destroy me. You know what I mean? First of all, my name is Patrick Chitambwe. I born in Zimbabwe. I come from Mutare. Here in Victoria Falls, I do hydroponic system. Hydroponics, the plants can grow into the water, because without any sand. We usually put chemicals into the 5-liter tank, and the water circulates like a swimming pool, and the plants can get food. And then we are growing tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, pak choi, and English cucumber. I spray all that land. So I'm going one by one, up to the end. If I spray one side, they'll go to another land. Caterpillars, even grasshopper, butterflies. You know, butterfly, they breed under the leaf of the plant. They cause more disease. We don't want any insects. Bed cucumber. There's a cutworm get inside, right inside. We've got a yellow line. There's a caterpillar was staying in this. But it will to affect us a lot. If it is thousands of cucumber affected, then we get lost.
My name's David Cooper. I was born in Harare. I was born in 1957. Came to Vic Falls 9 years ago. Worked for Wild Horizons as their CFO. I built a house for my daughter here, and we had this piece of land which was very, very thick, and well, daughter didn't like living next door to it, so I decided to develop it and built a small hydroponic farm and nursery. The first 6 months of it, we terraced. We brought in probably about 60 tons of elephant manure just to fertigate the soil. The soil is so bad here, it is called gusu sand, and really it has no qualities at all for growing any form of crops. Basically, we use mostly raw water, which is piped from the Zambezi River. We built a pipeline from the top end of town to here. If that fails, we have the backup of municipal water, but it's very costly, so we try not to use that. I think for Vic Falls, these type of tunnels would be a success here, no doubt. There is a demand for specialized vegetables in the falls, obviously for the hotels. Everything on the vegetable line is imported. The only trick that we've got to learn is to produce more.
As you compare the hydroponic and the plants into the sand, traditional cannot grow quicker than hydroponic. We buy the seeds, we buy it to the supermarkets. They don't allow us to use GMO seeds. That's why they don't allow us to bring seeds from outside, like America, like South Africa, other countries. We need the seeds that we grow in Zimbabwe.
I don't want to go into politics at all. All I know is that as a white man, owning a farm in Zimbabwe is a taboo. You're not allowed to own farms. People have said, why didn't I get a bigger piece of ground? Well, I certainly wouldn't do that, or could do that, simply because tomorrow your farm could be gone. We love it here, and obviously very settled. We enjoy it. I live next door, so this is a small commute to my little place of business. So it is it's very idyllic for me.
I have to go outside, because outside they are basically do hydroponics. If I go there, I learn more, I make a little bit money, then I start my small, about some small hectares, my own thing.
déficit de moyens financiers et matériels s'ajoute un autre frein aux initiatives individuelles, le manque de formation. Un enseignant a monté avec sa femme un centre de formation agricole dans le Matebeleland.
My name is Aaron Lovu. We are at Sizinda Agricultural Training Center. It is a new center that we've started that deals with everything to do with agriculture, horticulture, animal husbandry, and an all-rounder whereby we make sure that the farmer learns a lot of things like carpentry, building, motor mechanics, so that they're able to do everything on the farm. We look at things that can work for a particular situation. For instance, some places don't have a lot of water. So we look for plants that can grow very well in a particular place. And we've got a youth program whereby we are trying to conscientize the youth to like agriculture, to come and do it.
These are beans, okay, rich in protein. The beans itself is rich in protein. Then the leaves have got vitamin C, which is needed by the cattle, right? Yes. Do you understand? Yes. Yeah. Anybody who has got questions? Any questions? Any questions? You have to make sure that in the morning you feed them with this. As they wander about, they will pick in other types of grasses and other types of leaves. But it is very important really to make sure that you feed them using the cowpeas. So we have to grow quite a lot of cowpeas, grow them at an extensive, on a very extensive part. The cattle cannot stay in this cattle pen now, right?
Usually our rainfall begins in October. Then that is the planting season, and that's the preparatory season. Let's say October, November, we prepare the land. Those who want to use cattle for plowing, they do that. But now we have the basin program whereby you just dig basins, all right, basins on the ground, then you put manure in them. That when the first rains come, they find that you have already planted. Then when we get to around December, the people begin to weed because the crops are now up. There's the weeding whereby you have to remove the weeds. You have to make sure that the plants are not disturbed by any other plants. Then when we get towards January, they are still weeding because the crops are growing and some more grass will try to come up. So the people are still following the plants as they go. Then when we get to around March, some of the crops are getting ready for harvest, because sometimes some of them get matured very early, so they have to be taken out, they have to be harvested early, because if you leave them, if they are dry, they will begin to germinate again, then that's destroyed by the rain. Then when it gets to around April, that's the time when everyone is now beginning to harvest in Zimbabwe. In the rural setup, everyone on the rural farms, they are collecting whatever they've got in their fields and they are taking them to barns for storage.
Now we want to look at one type, because we're making this for seeds. Now if we look at this one, we're going to move around and cut exactly the ones that look like this one, since they are different. Now, this one, this is different.
And this one.
Which one?
This one.
There, hold this one. Which one?
This one.
Yeah. Oh yes, cut that one. Cut that one.
This one.
Yes, cut that one. Lelo, different. That is very tall. Look around, Yes, another one here. Lelo, you want? Huh? Different, eh?
This is different.
Oh. Which one?
This.
Because the truth about agriculture is life. Food gives people life. Without food, then we have starvation, and we have no youth, we have no parents. People die of starvation. So as long as the country has got enough supply of food, then all our problems are out. In the center, we are trying to get our infrastructure together. We need a shelter for our trainees. Some of them will have to come far away in the district, and some will come from other parts of the country. So we'll need to build dormitories for them. We need more water supplies. So if we can get some more boreholes, and if we are able to pull water, to drain water from the Zambezi, which is about 4 to 5 kilometers from here, we can, if we are able to siphon water from the Zambezi, then this is going to resuscitate our area.
Like now, I've got a group of 10. This group of 10, we were to join each other before the training center. We were just working outside the training center alone, me and the other women. So I'm just trying to mobilize them to come into the training center, because we're doing it just outside the training center. We're just helping each other in the fields. We go from one field to another, helping each other. We're practicing this conservation farming, the basin one. Yes, we have to dig the basins and plant the seed, put the manure, plant the seed, then we start weeding. We're to measure our plots, so it could help us, especially in the conservation farming. It helps us. We use just a few manure, then we conserve even the seed itself. Then it helps us in the water, because that basin keeps the water, it keeps the place wet. And my feeling in the future is our kids go into farming, generation from generation. I don't think there's anything bad which is going to take place. Everyone is going to be fit.
I tell you, as it spreads, then many people will leave the towns. Then they will come and we use the land. Because what is basic in Zimbabwe, the basic thing was the land. The land concept is one thing that every patriotic Zimbabwean would look at. Some people don't really know what you get from the land. If you're not mining, then you should be a farmer. You should be farming.
Aux quatre coins du Zimbabwe, qu'ils soient Shona ou Ndebele, les paysans résistent à la pauvreté grâce à leur lopin de terre. Ils la cultivent avec fierté et elle leur donne confiance en l'avenir. L'agriculture familiale apparaît comme le modèle agricole qui respecte le plus le fragile équilibre entre les êtres humains et la nature.